The night my mother demanded one real picture, I slid a sealed envelope across the table, and the entire room went silent. By the time she opened it, she finally understood why I'd stopped trusting her years ago. My name is Waverly. I'm 41, and I work in human resources for a hospital system. I'm also a mom of two, which means my life is basically applesauce stains, tiny socks in strange places, and a camera roll that could melt grandparents on sight. It started with something small, a bath time photo, a messy-lipped grin after spaghetti, the kind of harmless moments that feel safe when you share them with family, except my mother doesn't understand the difference between family and audience. We live on different continents, so photos were her lifeline. When my oldest was born, my husband and I made one simple rule: no posting our kids online. Not public, not friends only, not just my sisters can see. We told everyone the same thing. My mother nodded with that tight smile she uses when she plans to do whatever she wants anyway. A week later, I opened social media and saw my baby's face. Full name, birth date, tagged location, wrapped in a caption about my whole heart. Hundreds of likes. Comments from strangers. People I'd never met calling my child gorgeous like they had some right. I didn't explode. I didn't scream. I just went cold. I stopped sending photos. I turned my phone into a locked vault. And when my mother complained, I said calmly, "You already got your chance." She acted like I'd stolen something from her. Years passed. We visited when we could. She'd take pictures in person, and I'd keep my mouth shut as long as she didn't post. Sometimes she behaved. Sometimes she forgot. Every time she forgot, she blamed someone else. Then we had our second baby. The requests started before I'd even healed. Voice notes. Crying emojis. "I won't share, I swear on my life." She begged like the pictures were oxygen. One night, while I was rocking, the baby and my oldest was building a crooked tower of blocks on the rug. My husband glanced over and said, "Just send her something. It'll keep the peace." He meant well. He always does. I said, "I'll send photos when I can trust her." My husband laughed softly and did that annoying little joke he's made more and more lately. "You hate me." Normally, it rolled off my back. A harmless tease. But that night, with my baby's head heavy on my shoulder and my nervous system already fried, the words landed different, like a pebble in a shoe. Small but constant. "I don't hate you," I said, keeping my voice even. "I hate being cornered." He raised his hands like he was surrendering. Okay. I'm just saying, she's your mom." I stared at the sleeping baby and thought, yeah, that's the problem. The next morning, I had an idea. Quiet, controlled, and honestly a little petty in a way that felt good. If my mother couldn't stop herself from sharing, then I would stop giving her anything worth sharing. I didn't send her fake photos the way people imagine. No obvious weird hands, no melted faces. I had a friend from work who does digital art. She'd taught me how to create decoy images that looked real, enough at a glance, but couldn't be traced back to my kids. Different lighting, slightly altered features, a believable background. The kind of thing a proud grandma would forward without noticing. I also did something else. I made each photo unique, not obvious, not with big watermarks, just tiny differences. An almost invisible dot near the corner of a blanket, a faint shadow line on the wall, a little signature no one would see unless they were looking for it. I sent my mother a set and wrote, "These are only for you. Please don't share them." "I will know," she replied instantly. "I would never betray you like that." Betray. That word was hers, like she was the victim. A few days later, I was folding laundry when my phone buzzed. A message from a cousin I barely talked to. "Auntie posted the baby. So cute." My stomach dropped so hard I felt it in my throat. I clicked the link. It wasn't my mother's page. It was my aunt's. And there, in a cheerful post full of hearts, were my decoy photos. My baby, my family, my boundaries, all treated like decoration. I didn't panic. I didn't rage. I took screenshots. I saved everything. Then I called my mother. She answered like she'd been waiting for praise. "Did you see? Everyone is so happy for us." "For us," I repeated. "Oh, don't start," she said, already defensive. I didn't post anything. I held the phone away from my ear for a second and let the silence do its work. Then I said softly, "How did my aunt get the pictures?" A pause. A long, heavy pause where I could almost hear her brain racing for a lie that wouldn't collapse. I sent them privately," she finally said. Like that made it better. She's family. It was just in the family. "It's not just family when it's online," I said. "It's public. It's forever." "You're so controlling," she snapped. Like I'm some criminal for being proud. I kept my voice steady. "Take them down." My mother exhaled like I was exhausting her. "Fine, but you can't punish me forever. You're being cruel." Cruel. That word again, like my boundaries were violence. Within an hour, the post disappeared. My aunt sent a half apology that felt copy-pasted. Didn't realize it was an issue. My mother texted, "Happy now?" I didn't reply. I just added a new rule. No more pictures, period. Except, of course, the story didn't stay contained. Because my mother doesn't just share photos. She shares narratives. Within a week, my sister called me, voice tight. "Why are people asking if you're using fake babies?" I blinked. "What?" "Your cousin says the pictures looked like generated. And now your mom is embarrassed. She's telling everyone you tricked her." I sat at my kitchen table, staring at a bowl of stale cereal my oldest had abandoned, and felt this strange mix of satisfaction and dread. I'd set a trap to protect my children, and somehow I was the villain. That weekend, we had a video call with family. Not planned, not casual. A full talk this out situation. Like I'd committed a crime against the family brand. My aunt was there, my sister, a couple of cousins, even an old friend of my mother's who had no business being included. I watched the squares fill the screen and felt my chest tighten. My mother started with tears. She always starts with tears when she wants the audience. "I just wanted to see my grandbabies," she said, voice trembling perfectly. "And my own daughter sent me fake pictures like I'm nothing." My aunt chimed in. "It was humiliating. People noticed." I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I let them speak. I listened. I took mental notes. Because when people feel entitled, they always reveal more than they intend. Then my mother said something that made my skin go cold. "I wouldn't have needed to share if you didn't punish me by by keeping them from me, she said. You forced my hand. There it was. The truth in plain language. Not remorse. Not understanding. Just justification. My husband sitting beside me made a small noise. Half laugh, half disbelief. And before I could stop myself, the stress that had been building for months snapped into one sharp line. I turned to him and said very quietly, "Please don't do your you hate me joke right now." He froze. The call was still going. Everyone could see him. And my mother's eyes narrowed like she'd found a new angle. "Oh," she said sweetly. "So now you're controlling him too." My husband opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked at me like he wanted to help, but didn't know where to stand. I felt that pebble in my shoe again, grinding. The call ended with my mother demanding real photos and my aunt acting wounded, and my sister whispering afterward, "Maybe just send one. Keep the peace." Keep the peace? Like peace is something you buy by handing over your children. That night, after we put the kids to bed, my husband tried to lighten the mood. "Babe, you're acting like I'm the enemy. You hate me." Something in me went still. I stared at him, not angry like a storm, angry like ice. "Do you know what it feels like?" I said. "To watch strangers comment on your child's face? To know you can't take it back? To realize your own mother will trade your boundary for attention?" He blinked and his smile faded. "I'm not mad at you," I said, voice low. "I'm mad that you think this is a joke." He sat down slowly, rubbing his face. I'm sorry. I didn't mean." "I know," I cut in, softer now. "But I need you on my side, not on her side. Not on peace, on our kids." He nodded once. "Okay." And for the first time in a long time, I believed him. The next morning, I made coffee and opened my laptop like I was heading into work. I created a private family album. Not for sharing, not for everyone. A controlled system. Each relative got a different link. Each link was coded. Each image carried a tiny signature. I also wrote one clear message that I sent to everyone at once. "I will share pictures again under one condition. If a single photo leaks, access ends permanently. No debate." Then I did the last part, the part I didn't tell anyone. I prepared the envelope because my mother wanted real pictures so badly, and she kept insisting I was cruel. So I decided to show her something real. Not a photo, a record. A clean, undeniable trail of exactly where my children's images had gone and who had handed them over. And on the day she demanded a face-to-face call with the whole family, I agreed. I even smiled into the camera, because this time I wasn't walking into an ambush. I was walking in with proof. My mother had picked the time like she was scheduling court. Early afternoon for her, late evening for me. Perfect for an audience. My sister texted beforehand, "Please don't make this worse." My aunt sent a thumbs-up emoji like we were coordinating a surprise party. I sat at my dining table with my laptop open, my coffee gone cold, and my husband sitting a few feet behind me on the couch, quiet, watching, finally understanding that this wasn't family drama. This was access. This was control. This was our kids. When the call connected, the grid filled up again. My mother in her bright kitchen, hair done, eyes already glossy. My aunt angled perfectly under soft lighting. Two cousins hovering like spectators. My sister's face tense like she'd been holding her breath all week. Someone else popped in, one of my mother's friends, then quickly muted, as if she knew she wasn't supposed to be there, but didn't plan to leave. I noticed. I said nothing. My mother started immediately. "I'm not doing this to fight," she said, which is what she always says right before she fights. "I'm doing this because I miss my grandbabies. I miss my daughter, and I'm tired of being punished." Punished, the word she loved, the word that made my boundaries sound like cruelty. "I'm not punishing you," I said. "I'm protecting my kids." My aunt sighed dramatically. "From what? Like, what do you think is going to happen if a few family members see a baby picture?" "A few family members didn't see it," I said, still calm. "Hundreds of strangers did, because it got posted." Again, my mother lifted her chin. "I didn't post it. You distributed it," I replied. "And it ended up online. The result is the same." My sister jumped in, voice gentle. "Maybe we can compromise. Like watermarks? Or a private group?" My mother's eyes lit up. "See? That's reasonable. Not this coldness. I asked for pictures and you sent me fake ones. You embarrassed me." There it was. The real injury, not my boundary, not my fear. Her embarrassment. My husband shifted on the couch. I could feel his irritation behind me like a quiet fire. I took a breath and said, "Before we talk about anything else, I need to address one thing." My mother blinked innocently. "What? Why is your friend here?" I asked, nodding toward the extra square. The friend froze. My mother's cheeks flushed a little. "She's just listening. She cares about me." "This is about my children," I said, voice still controlled. "Not your support group. Please remove anyone who isn't immediate family." My mother's eyes narrowed like I'd slapped her. "You're so rigid." "I'm consistent," I said, "and if we can't even respect that, we're done." A beat of silence. Then finally her friend's square disappeared. My aunt rolled her eyes. My cousin smirked. My sister looked down like she was praying for the floor to open. My mother smiled again, but it was different now. Tight and dangerous. "Fine, now can we talk like adults?" I nodded. "Yes." She leaned forward. "I want real photos. I want to be able to show them to my sisters at least. Privately." "No," I said. Her face twitched. "Excuse me?" I said no. I repeated slower. "You already proved you can't control where the photos go." "I made a mistake," she snapped. "A mistake is spilling coffee," I said. "This is a pattern." My aunt jumped in. "So you're going to keep weaponizing the kids?" My pulse quickened, but I kept my voice flat. "I'm not weaponizing anyone. I'm setting rules. If you don't like them, you don't get access." My mother laughed once, sharp. "Rules? You talk like you're the government." "I talk like I'm the parent," I said. She stared at me, then did something that always made my stomach turn. She softened her voice and aimed it at the room, not me. "I just can't believe my daughter thinks I'm some kind of predator." I didn't take the bait. I didn't correct her. I didn't rush to reassure her, the way she trained me to do when I was young. I simply said, "I think you care more about being seen as a good grandmother than being one." My sister inhaled sharply. My mother's eyes widened. "Wet. That is disgusting." "No," I said. "It's accurate." And then, because she needed a new angle, she turned to my husband's square, except he wasn't on camera, just the corner of his shoulder. "Tell her," my mother said, voice sweet. Tell your wife she's taking this too far. My husband stood up, walked into view, sat beside me. And for the first time in years, he didn't look like the nice guy trying to smooth the edges. He looked like a father. She's not taking it too far, he said evenly. You are. My mother blinked like she'd been slapped. My aunt scoffed. Oh, please. My husband continued calm. We set a boundary. You broke it twice, then you blamed everyone else. Now you're demanding access like it's your right. My mother's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Then with that practiced tremble, she said, so I'm just cut off? After everything I've done for you? There it was again, the debt. The invisible bill she'd been handing me my entire life. I felt my jaw tighten. And that's when I reached down and picked up the envelope. It was plain, white, thick, no label, no drama, just paper. My mother's eyes tracked it instantly. What is that? I held it up to the camera. This is why we're done arguing. My aunt leaned closer. My sister's brows knitted. One cousin straightened like someone had announced a scandal. My mother's voice sharpened. What did you do? I didn't answer. I slid the envelope off screen, then opened my laptop to a folder I'd prepared days ago. I'm going to share my screen, I said. My mother flinched. No, don't. Too late. A chart appeared. Simple, clean, a list of names, dates, and where each image had surfaced. Not just the last leak, the first one, years ago. The repost of friends-only screenshots. The times my mother insisted she didn't post, while the trail clearly showed she'd sent photos to people who did. My mother's face went pale. My aunt squinted. What is that? A record, I said, of every time our children's images were shared outside the permission we gave. My mother's voice rose. You're tracking family? That's insane. I'm tracking my children's safety, I corrected. And here's the part you're going to love. I clicked to the next slide. It showed the decoy photos, the tiny signatures, the differences that proved exactly which person leaked which image. My cousin muttered, no way. My sister covered her mouth. My mother stared, blinking hard, like she was trying to make the information disappear. This, I said, is how I know it was you who sent the pictures to Aunt Zara. My aunt's face flushed bright red. Why are you dragging me? Because you posted them, I said, still calm, and then lied about it. Aunt Zara sputtered, offended. I didn't lie. You said you didn't realize it was an issue, I replied, but you deleted the post the second I called. That means you knew exactly what you were doing. My aunt's mouth opened, then closed. She looked at my mother like she expected rescue. My mother's throat bobbed. I only sent them because she begged me, she said quickly. She said she missed the baby. She promised she wouldn't post. My aunt snapped. I did not beg you. Oh, don't. My mother hissed at her, the mask slipping for 1 second. And that was my first micro twist of the day. My mother's careful victim voice cracked, revealing the sharp, controlling one she usually saved for private. The whole call went quiet. I didn't speak. I let them sit in it. Then my mother recovered and swung back toward me, eyes blazing. So what, you set me up? You tricked me with fake pictures just to catch me? I gave you one last chance, I said, and you chose attention. My husband placed his hand on my forearm, a small anchor. My mother's voice trembled again, but now it was anger, not tears. You're cruel. You're vindictive. Normal people don't do this. Normal people, I thought, don't share their grandkids like trophies. I clicked one more file. A short video appeared, a screen recording from my mother's own message thread, her forwarding the photos, her typing, "Don't show Waverly," her laughing reaction when my aunt replied, "Of course not." My mother's face drained of color so fast it looked unreal. My sister whispered, "Mom." My aunt's lips parted, then pressed together like she'd swallowed something sour. My mother's eyes darted wildly across the screen, searching for a way out, but there wasn't one. This was the practical front. Access, control, proof, but I wasn't finished, because the public front was next, and I could already feel my mother's reputation starting to shake. My mother's eyes were still locked. On the screen recording, when she suddenly slammed, her laptop shut so hard her camera shook. For a second, I thought she'd hang up. Instead, she popped back into frame with that dangerous calm she uses when she's about to do something nasty and pretend it's for love. I don't know what kind of daughter collects evidence like that, she said softly. But I do know one thing. This isn't over. My aunt's face had gone stiff, like she'd been caught stealing and couldn't decide whether to run or fight. My sister looked like she was about to cry. One cousin was chewing the inside of their cheek like they just watched a car crash. They couldn't stop. I kept my voice even. It is over. You don't get photos. You don't get private links. You don't get to ask again. My mother's smile was thin. You're acting like I'm a stranger. You're acting like my children are content, I replied. That's when she changed tactics again. Social front, public pressure. She turned her head slightly, like she was addressing an invisible room behind her. I hope everyone sees this, she said. I hope everyone sees how she talks to her own mother. No wonder her husband jokes that she hates him. My husband didn't flinch this time. He leaned forward, steady. Stop using me as a weapon. My mother blinked fast. Oh, so she's trained you too. I felt something settle in my chest, an old fear trying to rise, and a newer strength pushing it back down. I'm going to end the call, I said. But before I do, I'm going to say this one time so there's no confusion. My mother's eyes widened. You can't just— Yes, I can, I said, calm as a locked door. If you ever post forward or distribute anything about my children again, photos, names, birthdays, locations, there will be consequences. Real ones, not emotional ones, my aunt scoffed. Is that a threat? It's a boundary with an action behind it, I answered. My mother's voice sharpened. You think you can scare me with paperwork? You live far away. You think you're untouchable. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I clicked out of the screen share and held up the envelope again. This is a copy, I said. The original is already on its way to you. My mother froze. What did you send me? My husband's hand tightened slightly on my forearm, like he could feel the tremor of adrenaline under my skin. A cease and desist, I said. And a formal notice that any future sharing will be reported reported directly to the platform with evidence and to the relevant authorities if you attach identifying information. My sister whispered, Waverly. My mother laughed, but it sounded cracked. Authorities? For a grandma posting pictures? You're insane. I tilted my head. No, I'm prepared. And then finally she snapped. You always needed control, she hissed. Even as a little girl, you were never grateful. You were never warm. You always thought you were better. My heart thudded, but I kept my voice gentle, almost clinical. This isn't about me being better. This is about you being unsafe. My mother's eyes flashed. Unsafe? Me? I raised you. And you also taught me exactly how you operate, I said, which is why you got decoys. My aunt muttered something under her breath. My cousin looked away. My mother leaned closer to her camera, voice low and venomous. You want to play games? Fine, we'll play. Then she did it. She said the thing she thought would end me. I already have the real ones, she whispered, like a secret. My stomach dropped. My husband's head snapped toward me. My sister's face drained of color. Mom, what are you talking about? My mother's smile widened. Oh, didn't she tell you? When they visited last time, I took my own pictures. I have plenty. I don't need her permission. For a second, everything inside me went cold. Not panic, focus. I looked at my husband. Do you remember letting her hold your phone that day at the park? His eyes widened slowly. My mother lifted her chin, smug. I'm their grandmother. I can take pictures of my grandkids. You can take pictures, I said softly. You can't distribute them. She shrugged like she didn't care. Prove it. That was her favorite word. Prove it. She thought distance made her powerful. I stared at her and realized the big twist wasn't that she still had photos. The big twist was that she thought that was her winning move. I reached for my keyboard again and opened a different folder. One I hadn't shown yet. I can prove it, I said. My mother's smile faltered. I didn't just track the decoys, I continued. I tracked where the original leak went years ago. The one with my oldest. My mother's eyes narrowed. You're obsessed. I clicked a file, a screenshot of a website. My aunt leaned in. My sister's mouth fell open. There on the page was my child's face, my oldest, years younger, next to a caption that used my mother's exact writing style. Same punctuation, same dramatic tone, same my whole heart language. And below it, a donation button. My mother's face went gray. My husband whispered, what is that? I kept my voice steady, but inside, something was burning clean and bright. It's a fundraiser page, I said, created in my mother's name, using my child's picture, claiming my child had a medical crisis. My sister gasped. No, Mom would never. My mother's lips trembled. That's not. I clicked again. Another screenshot, a different page, same photo. A prayer request post in a large community group. Hundreds of comments. People offering money, meals, gifts. A thread of strangers asking for updates. My mother made a small sound, like air escaping. And that's when I remembered all the times she'd called me crying, saying, people are asking about you. And I'd assumed she meant family gossip. All the times she'd hinted that money was tight. All the times she'd said, if you'd just let me post, people would support us. Support. I swallowed slow. How much did you collect? My mother's eyes flicked away. My husband stood up fully now. His voice was low, dangerous. How much? My mother snapped. It was for the family. My aunt blurted, oh my God. My cousin muttered, that's insane. My sister started crying, hands covering her mouth. Mom, please tell me you didn't. My mother's face twisted. You don't understand, she said, voice rising. I was lonely. I was proud. People asked about the kids. They wanted updates. They wanted to help. And you, she jabbed a finger at the camera like she could touch me through it. You kept them from me. You humiliated me. You made me look like nothing. There it was. Not love, need, attention, control, and money. Dressed up as devotion. I didn't scream. I didn't call her names. I didn't give her the drama she craved. I simply clicked one more thing. An email draft, already sent, addressed to the administrators of those groups, with my evidence attached, the screen recordings, the forwarding messages, the proof of distribution, the fundraiser screenshots, a timeline. Then another email, this one to the platform's fraud department. Then another, this one to a lawyer my brother-in-law had recommended, ready to file in my mother's country. My mother stared like she couldn't compute what she was seeing. My husband exhaled slowly like he'd been holding his breath for years. My aunt's face turned toward my mother with real fear now. Not embarrassment, fear. Because reputation was the only thing my mother cared about more than being right, and I had just placed her reputation in the hands of the only people she couldn't. Guilt trip. Right here. Pause for 1 second. Tell me in the comments, would you have cut contact the first time or waited like I did? All right, now let me take you back. The call was still live. Everyone was still there. My mother was still breathing, but it sounded shallow. You wouldn't, she whispered. You wouldn't destroy your own mother. I kept my voice soft. You destroyed this yourself. My sister sobbed. Waverly, what are you going to do? I looked at my sister, then back at my mother. I'm going to do what I should have done the first time, I said. I'm going to remove access completely, and I'm going to correct the story, quietly, with proof. My mother shook her head, frantic now. You're dramatic. You're twisting things. I'm not twisting anything, I said. You used my child's image to collect sympathy and money, without my consent, while pretending to be the victim. My husband leaned toward the camera. You are done, he said. Do not contact our kids. Do not contact our school. Do not contact our neighbors. Do not contact my job. If you do, we will respond through legal channels only. My mother's eyes widened at the mention of school, like a confession slipping out. And that was the small final twist. I stared at her. Why did you react to school? My mother's mouth opened, then closed. My aunt whispered, what did you do? I felt my heart pound, but my voice stayed calm. Mom, tell me now. Did you contact my child's school? My mother's face crumpled into rage. I was trying to help, she shouted. You're unstable. You keep the kids from their family. Someone needed to check on them. My husband went completely still. I felt my hands turn cold. So she hadn't just shared photos. She'd tried to weaponize institutions. Reputation front, community front, practical front, all of it. I didn't blink. Thank you, I said quietly. My mother froze. For what? For admitting it, I said. Because I recorded this call. Silence. Not just awkward silence, total, stunned silence. My mother's eyes went huge. huge. My aunt looked like she might faint. My sister made a broken sound in her throat. My husband's hand found mine on the table and held it tightly. "I'm going to end this now," I said, voice steady. "You will receive no further photos. You will not have contact with my children. Any communication goes through our lawyer. If you show up uninvited, we call security. If you contact schools or neighbors again, we escalate immediately." My mother's voice turned into a plea, then a threat, then a plea again, but I didn't listen. I didn't feed it. I clicked leave meeting. The screen went black. For a long moment, my house was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and my own breathing. Then my husband sat down hard, face in his hands. "I'm sorry," he said, voice rough. "I thought it was just like annoying. I didn't understand it was this." I squeezed his hand once. "Now you do." We didn't sleep much that night. The next week was fallout. Quiet, controlled, relentless. The fundraiser pages disappeared. The community post got removed. My mother's account was temporarily restricted. My aunt called twice, then sent one message. I didn't know it was that serious. My sister visited therapy for the first time in her life, and when she called me afterward, her voice was clearer than I'd heard in years. "I think we've been managing Mom instead of living," she whispered. "Yes," I said, "we have." My mother tried one last move. She sent a group message to extended family claiming I'd gone crazy and was keeping the kids from love. I didn't reply. I forwarded one single file, one screenshot of her message, "Don't show Waverly." And then I removed myself from every family group chat. No speeches, no essays, just proof, then silence. A month later, I received a plain envelope in my mailbox. Inside was a printed photo, a real one. My oldest, years ago, smiling. On the back, in my mother's handwriting, "You can't erase me." I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I walked to my shredder, fed the photo into it, and watched it turn into thin, harmless strips. Then I opened my phone, scrolled to my contacts, and blocked her number permanently. Because the truth is, my mother was right about one thing. I couldn't erase her. So I did the only thing that actually protects a child. I erased her access.